We're going to have 2 straight 4s, the men and then the women, to end our 2021 regatta. And you can see they're already on the race course. Colleen, let me set the field. This is the men's youth 4 without coxswain. B final, contesting places 7 through 12 in the nation. Top of the screen, lane 1, St. Joe's Prep. Lane 2, the Bowles School. Lane 3, Mile High. Lane 4, Belen Jesuit. Lane 5, Newport. And in lane 6, closest to the camera, Wilson High School.
Yeah, and it's a great start, it looks like, as we look across the field for Belen Jesuit in a yellow shell. So St. Joseph's Prep on the far side, and then the Bowles School, Mile High, and then it's Belen Jesuit. So coming through that first 500-meter stretch, we'll get a sense for times in just a moment. Pretty tightly packed, at least up at the front, between Belen Jesuit running first, St. Joseph's running in a very close second, and then it's over to Wilson High School running third, Miles High, then the Bowles School, and Newport.
Look at that, 3 seconds from the front to the back of the field. You do see that gold boat. That's Belen Jesuit boys school in South Florida, and they have very quick starts, but starting to show speed and bring it to level is St. Joe's Prep up there in lane 1 with Belen Jesuit, but everybody going and everybody connected and still in it. The only boat even slightly off the pace is Newport in lane 5. You see them on the left side of the screen if you're watching at home. And Newport, a long tradition of very fast sweep rowing, and I suspect that they will find some more speed in the second half and even get into the mix. But out front, you do have Belen Jesuit. As much as I've been talking, Belen Jesuit has taken the lead back from St. Joe's, but it's still very close up front between the two.
Yeah, Belen Jesuit just looking really solid up there at the top of this B final. So a nice press indeed. They'll have to keep an eye out for Prep over in lane 1, and then being challenged by Mile High a little bit too. The Bowles School about a half a length back from Mile High. So Belen Jesuit, pretty solid lead right now, but if you look again just across the field, St. Joseph's Prep out of lane 1 looks like they're moving ever so slightly closer to Belen Jesuit. Mile High though going with them, so those are our front 3 leaders, and then closest to us, Wilson High School as well, keeping right with the pack.
St. Joe's Prep just showing their depth. It seems like every student at St. Joe's Prep must row, Colleen, because they're in every single one of these events. They've done so well. We saw their 8 win the national championship earlier, but it's Belen Jesuit by maybe a deck over St. Joe's all the way up there in lane 1. I love the shot, so we can get all of the boats that are in this entire field in the mix because the racing is so close. You still see just above Belen Jesuit that boat from Mile High from Denver, Colorado. They are still connected with both of your leaders, as is the boat furthest to the bottom, Wilson High School in lane 6. So everyone is still there. Don't forget about the Bowles School in lane 2, that blue boat, second from the top from Jacksonville, Florida, but it continues to be Belen Jesuit. Can they hang on to it in this third 500 and go into the last 500 with the lead? They're starting to really get a challenge and a push now from the bottom of the screen. Wilson High School may be finding a different gear.
Yeah, so Wilson High School, they managed to pull themselves up from third and to pass St. Joe's Prep and to hold on to that second place position. They've had it for the last several hundred meters, and as we can see now, they're starting to push in to Belen Jesuit's lead. So we'll take a look at times as they prepare to cross into the final 500 meters. But Wilson High School, a bit of a more patient first half than some of the other competitors on the field, but looks like they're really looking to now bring it in these last 500-600 meters. So an eye on Wilson High School, ever so close with Belen Jesuit, and on the far side, St. Joe's Prep staying in it too, but Wilson High School moving.
Yeah, Wilson High School, so it's just so spaced out here. It looks like Wilson High School by a tenth of a second over Belen Jesuit at 500 to go. St. Joe's Prep with connection. St. Joe's Prep with the only boat with connection on the top 2 as they come through. So a big third 500 from Wilson High School. And they will be aided by the crowd as they come closest to the beach in lane 6 as they come down the track. They continue to move away. Does Wilson High School a little bit from Belen Jesuit? Does Belen Jesuit have a punch to throw that they still have in their arsenal to try to get back into Wilson High School as we start to see Mile High put on a press to maybe try to get ahead of Prep up there in lane 1? And so I love this shot because we get them all. They're not necessarily in adjacent lanes that are out in front of this race, and that also makes it a little bit difficult sometimes for these athletes to understand as Belen Jesuit comes back. This was going to come right down to the line, I believe, Colleen, up front for 7th place in the country for a win in the B final. Is it going to be Wilson High School, or is it going to be Belen Jesuit?
Yeah, Wilson High School with that power move right in the third 500, taking that momentum with them into the final 500. The question then becomes, who can use the stroke rate efficiently? If they do bring it up, they must do it with power, not to just spin wheels, but to actually propel the boat forward. I think Belen Jesuit with a bit of an answer for Wilson High School. They didn't quite like that press, and Wilson High School again out of lane 6 closest to us, but it's looking like Belen Jesuit out of lane 4 will hold it ever so close between these two crews. Wilson High School then coming through to take second in this B final. Then we have St. Joe's Prep on the far side. We'll get a look at times in just a moment. Mile High was going right with St. Joe's, but indeed Belen Jesuit able to press themselves back up to take first